Welcome to the Red Stories. Subscribe, like, I think it's not difficult for you. Thank you, thank you. I saw my girlfriend giving her number to a random guy, and she didn't tell him that she has a boyfriend. Did I overreact? My girlfriend and I have been together for almost 2 years. We are both in our late 20s. Today we were getting coffee. She had brought her dog with us. The place was busy with all kinds of people and families around. I left for a minute to get a drink, and when I came back, she was talking to some guy while he was petting the dog. At first, I didn't think much of it because people often come up to talk about and pet our dog. But then they took their phones out, and I started to feel uncomfortable. She seemed a bit uncomfortable too. When I asked her about it and who that guy was, she waited until he left to talk. She said it was weird. I then asked why she gave him her number and if she mentioned she had a boyfriend. She admitted that she didn't tell him and later said she felt bad for not doing so. We talked, and she said she was confused and flustered and would never meet up with him. She promised to block him and said she would do better in the future. Still, I couldn't stop thinking the worst, wondering if this was the first time it had happened, and what would have happened if I wasn't there or what happens when she goes out alone. Later, after we left and got home, I confronted her about it again, admittedly upset, and asked why I shouldn't just leave, and whether she still wanted to be with me. Her defense was that she was tired and didn't expect someone to ask for her number. She thought the guy was just being nice. We eventually talked it out, and I tried to see her perspective, that maybe it's sometimes hard to say no to a man hitting on you. I later apologized for getting so upset, but a part of me kept thinking, it wasn't like you were in a dark alley at night. How hard was it to tell him the guy sitting across from you is your boyfriend? We kind of made up after that and watched a movie, but now she's upset about how I reacted, saying she's never seen this side of me and that it worried her. She wants to talk more about it. I guess I'm looking for some outside perspective. Did I overreact? Is what she did acceptable, or is this some gray area? Relevant comments. What she did was extremely disrespectful. I imagine if the roles were reversed, and you had exchanged numbers with some random woman, your girlfriend would be losing her mind. Don't let her manipulate you. What she did was messed up, and you got every right to react the way you did. Again, if you had swapped numbers with a stranger, she probably would have broken up with you already. OP's response. You summed up my feelings. Initially, I wasn't upset but thought it was weird. As I drove home, I got more and more upset. Once we got out of the car, I yelled, but not at the top of my lungs. What were you thinking? Then I immediately turned around to take a break and called a friend. We spoke later when I calmed down a bit. That initial angry question made her upset, and she later confessed this morning, crying, that she was scared I was going to hurt her. I was honestly offended and asked her if she really thought I would hit her. Of course I would never. I've never been in a fight and avoid conflict, let alone hitting a woman. To be clear, she gave him her number, and he didn't give her his. She said he was fat and old, but I don't agree. He didn't look that old or fat to me. They talked about our dog, and she claimed she didn't think it was flirting until the very end, where he asked for lunch and her number. That's when she realized she had messed up and apologized. But I've noticed a trend where I always end up apologizing and compromising after an argument, even when I feel like I'm not in the wrong. I'm trying to make things work and see her side of things. She's never given me a reason to suspect she's cheated before, and I don't think she's a people pleaser, but still, this situation is hard to accept. Later update. We've been talking more, and I've decided to stay at my parents' place for a few days. I told her I want to believe her, that this was a one-time mistake, but it's hard for me. It may take time for me to trust her fully again. I asked her if I can depend on her to stand up for our relationship next time, and she said yes. She keeps saying she wants to be with me forever, and I want to believe that, but I told her I need time. I appreciate everyone's replies. I'm sorry I can't respond to all of them, but I hope this gives more insight. She has suggested couples therapy, and I might give that a try, but I will also take note of this incident and hope it was just a weird one-off. Further update. After spending a few nights apart, we got together to talk again. I asked her what's been on her mind. She apologized for what she did and said she didn't know it would be so triggering for me and promised never to do it again. I was defensive and told her that my reaction was justified and that I didn't overreact. She told me she was genuinely afraid I would hurt her in that moment, which really hurt me. I can't be with someone who thinks I would ever hurt them. I figure it was best to call it quits. We both cried a bit. She said she never imagined things ending like this. We said goodbye. I still feel hurt and unsure if I made the right decision. Should we have tried couples counseling first? but at the same time, I feel like this was the right choice. Psychological perspective.